Hey everybody, and welcome to the Simply Straight Talk YouTube channel. My name is Reggie, and before we get into this, please hit that subscribe and like button. Today I want to talk about the HBCU football games. Primarily I want to stick to the national championship that took place this Saturday, where Jackson State University took on South Carolina State University. Now, leading up to this game, which I'm going to switch to another topic regarding leading up to this game, but leading up to this game, a lot of the YouTube channels and sports writers on YouTube, a lot of people really favored Jackson State University. Now, in following the MEAC and the SWAC, I watched South Carolina State University. Now, they didn't have the 10-1 record that Jackson State University had going into this season. But one thing I noticed about this this South Carolina State University, man, they got some talented guys on this team. I'm not talking, they weren't like number one recruits across the country. These guys are good, man. They got some talented players on their team. They got a quarterback who is nice. He's really nice. He needs a little more grooming, but the guy is good, very accurate with his passes. He got a receiver that can catch anything, including the moon. So they're a good team. And not taking anything away from Jackson State University, I think Jackson State University was just on a high. They were so used to winning and dominating that I really think they thought that when they came into this game, especially the way the first half went, that I think that Jackson State thought that they was going to run this game. They was going to run the table on South Carolina State. Now, I don't know if they watched the film or saw the film the way I saw the film, but clearly, South Carolina State University was not a team that anybody should have slept on. I watched them when they played Norfolk State University. These guys, man, can ball. But here's the thing. Clearly, South Carolina State University was the better team. I honestly believe that. I think they were the better team. Jackson State University came into this game thinking, we're going to come out, punch these guys in the mouth, and they're going to lay down. And that was totally not what happened. South Carolina did look a little sloppy in the first quarter, but after that, they really picked up. Once they got into their groove, there was no looking back on this South Carolina State University team. Jackson State University had the #1 defense in the FCS, but South Carolina State University says, I don't care. Needless to say, South Carolina State University won the game 31-10. Like I said, once they got their groove, South Carolina State University just simply did not look back. They wanted it, they took it, they got it. Now, I gotta say this, and I know a lot of people, Deion Sanders is just one of those guys that his personality is either you're gonna like him or not like him. He has a very loud personality. Some people don't like that. Even some of the HBCU coaches don't like Deion Sanders' personality. They don't. But when you pay attention to any interview that Deion Sanders has, this guy's an upstanding guy. And I think the fact that he's an ex-NFL player, he's an NFL Hall of Famer, he's able to say things that the other coaches don't want to say because they're not in the position that Deion Sanders is in. To where Deion Sanders can go be a sports analyst anywhere. The other coaches in the HBCU football don't really have that luxury. So to keep their job, they remain silent about certain things. Deion Sanders is a necessity for HBCU sports. And I like his mindset because the thing that really impresses me about Deion Sanders, I think a lot of the coaches, the HBCU football coaches, are in the mindset of, this is who we are. We play the bigger teams because they do get paid when they play. Like when smaller schools play bigger schools, they get paid to play them because, they got the big stadiums. The other thing is a lot of the bigger schools like Georgia, Notre Dame, Auburn, Alabama, these big schools play these smaller schools normally in the beginning of the season, because it's like a warm-up game. It's like it's a confidence builder. We need to find somebody we can just pound, and that's why they get the score like 76 or 68-0 or 68-3. But Deion Sanders is changing that. He's changing that, because not only is he teaching these guys about playing football, he's teaching them life beyond football. So if these guys go to the NFL, Deion Sanders is giving them lessons from someone not only who has been there and lived that lifestyle, but he can educate them on making better decisions, better choices, not only on the football field, but in their personal lives as well. And I know a lot of people don't really agree with his coaching, but my thing is, Deion Sanders is just simply not coaching people to play football. He's coaching people to live. He's coaching people to have a future, like I said, in football and also in life in general. So from that perspective, you got to take your hats off to Deion Sanders. Another thing that Deion Sanders is doing is, I love the way he recognizes the other coaches. Regardless of what they think or feel about Deion Sanders, as he likes to be called, well, Coach Prime, as he likes to be called, Deion Sanders, a.k.a. Coach Prime. So when I say Coach Prime, just know I'm talking about Deion Sanders, for those of you who are new to HBCU. The one thing I really respect about him is Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, takes ownership of not only his team behavior, but he takes ownership in loss. He takes ownership in victory. He takes ownership for JSU behavior overall when it comes to the football field and what happens during the game. You got to respect this man for that. I mean, I listened to Coach Prime at the post-game interview. This man had nothing but well-rounded accolades and support to say about the South Carolina State University team and coaching staff. He acknowledged that. So you got to give him credit, and you got to acknowledge that Deion Sanders is a necessary voice and presence for HBCUs, because HBCUs got to get beyond the mindset, because this is something that has always bothered me about HBCU as far as coaching. These kids come to HBCUs and, you know, some of them sort of expect to go to the NFL. Some of them just come just to play. But he's teaching them that you can get out here and compete with the best of schools. That's what Deion Sanders is showing. You can compete with the best of schools. And you guys got to realize something. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of NFL players great NFL players came from HBCUs. Shannon Sharp, Walter Payton, Donovan McNabb. I mean, they came from HBCUs. So this is the thing that people got to recognize, and he's bringing that back to where we have people now looking at saying, you know what, I can go to an HBCU and be successful. Here is the uphill battle that I think, and Coach Prime has, I keep want to call him Deion Sanders. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, has made it clear that HBCU football games, and this is kind of where I want to lean in right now before I cut this off. In order to watch an HBCU football game, you pretty much need to go to the game, which I do advise you, go to the game. Let's support these people. Let's support these young kids, man, at HBCUs. But when it comes to the sports channels, and everybody knows that ESPN is the sports giant, there is no promotional aspect whatsoever of HBCU games. If you see Georgia and Alabama playing, there is no mention of HBCU games. Even if, when they're doing like the pregame thing and they're going down the list of schools playing each other, they never mention HBCU games at all. Even in the ticker, you might see 1 or 2 HBCU games in the little ticker across the screen. ESPN does not acknowledge HBCU games. And I think the only reason there was more games on ESPN was because Coach Prime made a fuss about it. He spoke up about it. He called ESPN out. So ESPN put a few more games on. But here's what they do. They put the HBCUs on stuff like ESPN Plus, ESPNU, ESPN Minus, and all these other ESPN channels that nobody else has. You know, the Bethune-Cookman FAMU game is a huge game. But that game came on at what? 1 o'clock in the morning is when they showed it after the game was over. On Saturday, they were showing all of these smaller schools, but you got the HBCU National Championship and you don't put it on ESPN. You put it on ESPN, what was it, U? It's like ESPN intentionally, you know, doesn't want to show HBCUs. I don't know, because you got to think about something. And I know people don't like talking about history, but when you think about these historical black colleges, it was when I think it was Grambling played Morgan. It was the first national televised game, and everybody, and all of a sudden it was like, whoa, we got to get in here. We got to go grab some of this talent. And they start swooping in. I don't understand why ESPN refuses to give HBCUs airtime. It's like they refuse to. They'll put on high school games before they will put on an HBCU game. And the teams they were showing Saturday, I'm like, are you serious? These are the games you're showing when a black national championship, when the historical black college national championship game is playing. These are the teams you're showing. I don't understand that. You know, I understand there's a lot of colleges. There's no way they can show every single game. I get that. I understand that. But I think ESPN can do a better job of making the championship and some of the Classic Bowls available so that everybody can see them, so that everybody can enjoy the game. And here's the thing. They don't even promote HBCU games. And I think that's what irks me the most. It's like there's no promotion, there's no acknowledgement. You put the national championship game on ESPNU, but there was no promotions, none. But you'll promote Georgia and Alabama, or Auburn and Alabama, or Notre Dame and Pitt. You'll promote that game 3 months in advance. You mean to tell me when they have college game day, those sports analysts sitting on that stage can't pick one HBCU game and say, hey, this is going to win. This is going to win this game. You can't discuss the game. They don't name players. I mean, they totally do not acknowledge the HBU side of football. And it just really bothers me. I'm not saying put every HBCU game on TV, but there's at least 3 or 4 that you can put on the main platform of ESPN, like the regular ESPN, that people will watch, instead of putting them all on back ESPN channels that nobody can see. I don't understand that. But anyway, congratulations to South Carolina State University. Congratulations to Jackson State University. You guys played an outstanding game. To the young men who played in that game, you guys did good. You played with your heart on both sides. And to our national champion, South Carolina State University, much love and respect. And to all HBCU football players out there, to all the HBCU bands who worked hard to entertain the crowd during halftime, you know, much respect and love. Much respect and love. Thank you guys for contributing and just really putting it all out there. I am really a big avid supporter of HBCU sports, and that we get more attendance at the game, that we get more people supporting, that we get more publicity and marketing for HBCU sports. But like I said, it was a great game. This has been a great season, and you got to acknowledge Coach Prime for definitely for the HBCU Coach of the Year. He did a remarkable job in turning around that Jackson State University athletic program as far as the football program. also for speaking up on all HBCUs, which he has done. He has not asked for anything for JSU. He has asked everything for HBCU sports overall. He implemented the model for JSU, I believe, and I think that's something that HBCUs need to adopt overall, is the I believe mentality. Moving past where HBCU, we just like to take a beating program to we want to compete for the respect and the national championship in any bowl game. You know what I'm saying? To where HBCUs can be dominant and they can be competitive sports program against any Division I school. So let's recognize these guys, man. Let's show our support. Thank you for watching. And like I said, congratulations to South Carolina State University for winning the national championship. And once again, shout out to all the HBCUs, man. Norfolk State, FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, Jackson State University, Southern University, Alcorn State, okay, Mississippi Valley State, everybody, man. So shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to everybody. You know what I'm saying? All of the HBCUs. I can't sit here and name them all. It'll take forever. You know, Arkansas Pine Bluff, Prairie View University. Shout out to the band, Sonic Boom of the South, the Marching Wildcats, the Marching 100. You know, there's a lot of great bands out there, man. The $1 Million Funk Squad. You know what I'm saying? One of the best. So, you know, we got to give a lot of shout out and a lot of love. Make sure you show these guys some support, and let's continue to do that and raise them up. But like I said, Coach of the Year, Coach Prime, got to give you respect, man. Got to give respect for what you're doing down there at JSU. But let's end this on with the school that really did their thing, and that's South Carolina State University, man. Y'all came out there. Y'all proved y'all are a talented team, a team that is not to be underestimated. You played with your hearts, and you played physical football. So congratulations, guys. Your national championship. You guys stay strong. Keep it up. And to all the other HBCUs, man, nothing but love and respect. Peace.